Unstuck, Breaking Free from Limiting Beliefs Complete Manuscript Table of Contents. Introduction. The weight of invisible chains. You are not reading this book by accident. You are reading this because you are tired. Not the kind of tired that a good night's sleep can fix, or the physical exhaustion that comes after a long run. You are tired in your soul. You are exhausted from the effort of pushing against a wall that doesn't seem to move. You are drained from the mental gymnastics of convincing yourself that this life, this job, this relationship, this version of you, is good enough, while a quiet, persistent voice in the back of your mind screams that it is not. Welcome. You have come to the right place. Being stuck is a modern epidemic. In an age where we have more freedom, more technology, and more choices than any generation in history, millions of us feel paralyzed. We see the path forward, but we cannot seem to make our feet move. We know what we should do. Write the book, start the business, leave the toxic partner, commit to health, but we remain frozen in place, watching weeks turn into months, and months turn into years. The sensation of being stuck is unique because it is paradoxical. On the outside, your life might look functional, perhaps even successful. You show up to work. You pay your bills. You smile at dinner parties. But internally, you feel like an engine revving in neutral, high effort, loud noise, zero movement. This friction creates a specific type of pain, the gap between who you are and who you know you could be. The great misunderstanding. Most people believe that getting unstuck is a matter of force. We tell ourselves we just need more willpower, more discipline, or a better planner. We buy new journals, download productivity apps, and watch motivational videos at 2 a.m., convinced that if we just try harder, the wheels will finally catch traction. But willpower is a finite resource, and you cannot muscle your way through a mental block that you haven't identified. If you were driving a car with the parking brake on, you wouldn't try to go faster by slamming on the accelerator. That would only burn out the engine. You would simply release the brake. This book is about finding the brake. The brake is not your lack of talent. It is not your lack of resources. It is your limiting beliefs. These are the invisible narratives running in the background of your operating system. Stories like "I'm not enough," "Success is dangerous," "I don't deserve happiness," or "It's too late for me." These beliefs were likely installed years ago, perhaps in childhood, to keep you safe. But now, they have become the bars of a cage you cannot see. How this book works. We are going to go on a journey together. This isn't just a book of theory, it is a manual for reconstruction. In Part 1, the diagnosis, we will stop running. We will turn the lights on and look at the cage. We will identify exactly why you are stuck and which specific beliefs are holding the parking brake down. In Part 2, the confrontation, we will enter the courtroom of your mind. We will challenge the inner critic, that nasty, nagging voice that keeps you small, and we will put your limiting beliefs on trial. In Part 3, the reconstruction, we will look at the neuroscience of change. You will learn how to physically rewire your brain to support a new narrative, moving from a victim of your history to the architect of your future. In Part 4, the ascension, we will build the habits and systems to ensure that once you break free, you stay free. You do not need to be fixed, because you are not broken. You are simply blocked. The door to the cage is unlocked. It has been unlocked the whole time. You just need to realize you have the power to push it open. Let's begin. Part 1. The diagnosis, recognizing the chains. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Carl Jung. Chapter 1. The Invisible Cage. In India, elephant trainers use a fascinating, and heartbreaking, technique to train baby elephants. When an elephant is still small, the trainer ties one of its legs to a sturdy post with a thick, heavy rope. The baby elephant, naturally wanting to roam and play, pulls against the rope. It tugs, it strains, and it fights. But at this age, the elephant is not strong enough to break the rope or uproot the post. Day after day, the baby elephant fights the restraint. And day after day, it fails. Eventually, the elephant's brain learns a brutal lesson. When I pull, I stay stuck. The struggle is useless. The elephant stops pulling. It accepts the radius of the rope as the entirety of its world. Here is where the story gets profound. As the elephant grows into a massive, multi-ton adult, a creature capable of uprooting trees and tipping over cars, the trainer continues to use the exact same rope. He doesn't need a chain. He doesn't need a steel enclosure. He ties the same flimsy rope to a small wooden stake. The adult elephant could snap that rope with a flick of its ankle. It could walk away at any moment. But it doesn't. Why? Because the elephant believes it cannot. Its memory of the past dictates its reality in the present. It is bound not by the rope, but by the belief that the rope is stronger than it is. You, my friend, are the elephant. The anatomy of Stuck. We look at the elephant and think, how tragic. It doesn't know its own strength. Yet we do the exact same thing. Most of us are held back by constraints that were real at one point in our lives but are now nothing more than flimsy ropes. Maybe you were told you were too loud in second grade, so now, as a 30-year-old executive, you're terrified to speak up in meetings. Maybe you watched your parents struggle with money, so now, despite having a good income, you hoard your resources and refuse to invest in your own dreams because you believe money is scarce. This is the invisible cage. The invisible cage is the psychological boundary you have unwittingly accepted. It defines what you think is possible for you. It's the voice that says, people like me don't start businesses. I'm too old to change careers. If I ask for what I want, I'll be rejected. These aren't facts. They are memories solidified into dogmas. Diagnosis. Are you in the cage? Recognizing the cage is difficult because it feels familiar. It feels like home. We often mistake the lack of freedom for safety. To find out if you are currently living inside the invisible cage, look for the following symptoms of stuckness. 1. The if only loop. You spend a significant amount of mental energy living in a hypothetical future or a regretted past. If only I had more time. If only I had started 5 years ago. If only I had a supportive partner. The if only loop is a defense mechanism. It allows you to mourn your potential without having to take responsibility for it. 2. Procrastination is protection. You have a goal. You want the goal. But when it comes time to work on the goal, you suddenly need to clean the entire kitchen, organize your email, or scroll through social media for 2 hours. We often view procrastination as laziness. It is not. It is an anxiety management technique. Your brain views the goal as a threat, failure, rejection, discomfort, so it steers you toward low-stakes tasks to keep you safe. 3. Chronic envy. When you see someone else doing what you want to do you feel inspired, or do you feel a sour pit in your stomach? Envy is a powerful diagnostic tool. It is your intuition whispering, that's supposed to be yours. We only envy the things we are capable of but are currently suppressing. 4. The ceiling of happiness. This is a subtle one. When things start going really well, you get a promotion, you start a great new relationship, do you suddenly feel anxious? Do you wait for the other shoe to drop? Do you unconsciously pick a fight or make a mistake to bring your happiness back down to a manageable level? This is your internal thermostat regulating your joy to match your limiting beliefs. The first key: radical awareness. So, how do we break the rope? How do we step out of the cage? The elephant stays trapped because it lacks the capacity to re-evaluate its reality. It relies on instinct and memory. You, however, possess metacognition, the ability to think about your own thinking. The moment you realize you are in a cage, the cage begins to dissolve. Right now, I want you to perform a small audit. We aren't trying to solve the problem yet, we are just observing it. I want you to finish this sentence. I feel stuck in the area of blank, because I am afraid that if I make a move, blank. By writing this down, you are looking at the rope. You are testing its tension. You are acknowledging that the constraint is not out there in the world, but in here, in the narrative. Chapter 2. The Anatomy of a Limiting Belief. Now that we know the cage exists, we need to understand what it is made of. Many people think of beliefs as floating, abstract ideas, like clouds that drift through our minds. If I tell you to change your beliefs, it sounds as helpful as telling you to change the weather. It feels out of your control. But beliefs are not clouds. They are structures. They have architecture. And just like any structure, if you understand how they are built, you can understand how to dismantle them. The table leg metaphor. Imagine a table. The tabletop represents the belief itself. For example, let's take the common belief: I am not good enough to lead a team. If you just have that tabletop floating in the air, it will fall. A belief cannot exist without support. It needs references to hold it up. These references are the legs of the table. The legs are the proof you have gathered over your lifetime to support the idea that you aren't a leader. Leg 1. The time I stuttered during a presentation in 10th grade. Leg 2. My father telling me I was too quiet to be in charge. Leg 3. Getting passed over for that promotion 3 years ago. These experiences, the legs, prop up the belief, the table. The more legs you have, and the thicker they are, the sturdier the table becomes. This is why positive affirmations often fail. You can stand in front of a mirror and say, I am a powerful leader, trying to install a new tabletop 1,000 times, but if you haven't knocked out the legs of the old table, the new belief has nowhere to stand. The old table is taking up all the room. The filter. How your brain keeps you stuck. Your brain processes millions of bits of data every second. To protect you, your brain has a filtering system called the Reticular Activating System, ROS. The ROS acts like a bouncer. It filters information to match your existing beliefs. If you believe I am not good enough, your ROS acts like a radar for rejection. It will highlight the one person checking their phone while you speak, and it will delete the 10 people nodding along. It will amplify a critical email and minimize a compliment. You are not seeing reality. You are seeing a curated version of reality designed to prove you right. The anatomy of a breakthrough. To get unstuck, we don't attack the tabletop, the belief, directly yet. We attack the legs. We have to introduce doubt. Doubt is the solvent that dissolves the glue holding the table together. When we look at that memory of 10th grade, we ask, is that really proof I can't lead now? Or was I just 15 and nervous? Once you start sawing at the legs, the table becomes wobbly. And a wobbly belief is one you can change. Chapter 3. Excavating the past. Where the stories began. If you want to kill a weed, you don't cut it off at the stem. You have to pull it out by the root. Most of our limiting beliefs are not recent acquisitions. These seeds were planted long ago, usually in the fertile soil of childhood. The silent vow. A silent vow is a promise a child makes to themselves in a moment of pain to ensure that pain never happens again. Scenario. You saw your parents fighting about money every night. You felt unsafe. The silent vow. I will never depend on anyone. I will handle everything myself. Fast forward 20 years. You are now an entrepreneur burning out because you refuse to hire help. You think you are just a control freak, but you are actually fulfilling a vow made by a 5-year-old trying to stay safe. The excavation exercise. Timeline mapping. To break the vow, we must identify when it was made. Mark the highs and lows. Draw a timeline. Above the line, mark your happiest memories. Below the line, mark the painful ones. Look for patterns. Look at the low points. Is there a recurring theme? E.g., public embarrassment, financial loss. Find the first time. Go back to the earliest low point. on your timeline that feels connected to your current struggle. Visualize that younger version of yourself. That child wasn't broken. They were just trying to survive. But here is the truth. You are not that child anymore. You have resources, agency, and power that the child did not have. Chapter 4. The Comfort Zone Illusion. We have a massive branding problem when it comes to the comfort zone. The phrase sounds lovely, but if you are reading this book, you know the truth. Your comfort zone is not comfortable. You might be in a job that drains your soul or a relationship that makes you cry. A more accurate term would be the familiarity zone. The brain's prime directive. To understand why you stay in a miserable situation, you have to understand the biological mandate of your brain. Your brain's number one job is not to make you happy. It is to keep you alive. To your primitive brain, the amygdala and limbic system, the unknown, is synonymous with death. The known current job, you hate it, but you know you can pay rent. Verdict. Safe. The unknown, starting a business, you might fail. Verdict. Danger. Your brain prefers a known hell to an unknown heaven. The illusion of safety. In the wild, staying in the cave kept you safe. In the modern world, staying in the cave exposes you to different predators, regret, stagnation, and obsolescence. To escape, we have to teach the brain that staying stuck is actually more dangerous than moving forward. We have to associate pain with staying the same and pleasure with changing. Chapter 5. The 4 Archetypes of Stuckness. Stuckness wears many masks. Over years of working with clients, I have identified 4 distinct archetypes of stuckness. 1. The perfectionist. The mantra, if I can't do it perfectly, I won't do it at all. The perfectionist is obsessed with avoiding judgment. They believe that if they produce something flawless, nobody can criticize them. The truth. You are terrified of being seen as flawed. 2. The procrastinator. The mantra, I'll do it when I feel like it. The procrastinator is not lazy, they are overwhelmed. They view the task ahead as a massive, painful mountain. To avoid the pain, they distract themselves. The truth. You are using adrenaline to overcome your fear of the task. 3. The people pleaser. The mantra, I don't want to rock the boat. The people pleaser has outsourced their navigation system. They make decisions based on what will keep others happy. The truth. You are buying safety with your compliance. 4. The imposter. The mantra, soon, they will find out I'm a fraud. The imposter attributes their success to luck. They live in constant fear of being exposed. The truth. You don't believe you are worthy of the seat you already occupy. Name it, own it. I am stuck because I am operating as a perfectionist. By naming it, you strip it of its mystery. Part 2. The confrontation. Challenging the inner critic. The mind is a wonderful servant, but a terrible master. Robin Sharma Chapter 6. Meeting your inner critic. If I hired a coach to follow you around all day, and that coach spoke to you the way you speak to yourself, you lazy idiot, you're going to fail, how long would you keep them employed? You would fire them immediately. Yet, we live with this voice 24/7. This is your inner critic. The critic is not you. The most important psychological shift you can make is this: you are not your thoughts. You are the thinker of your thoughts. The inner critic is a protective mechanism. It believes that if it beats you up first, the world won't be able to hurt you. It tells you, don't speak up, to protect you from rejection. The intention is safety. The result is imprisonment. Exercise. Personify the critic. To break the power of the critic, we must externalize it. Give your critic a persona. Make it silly. Call it Harold or Regina. When the negative thoughts start, say, oh, hearing a lot from Harold today. Thanks for your input, Harold, but I've got this. By naming it, you create distance. You realize the voice is not the truth, it's just Harold. Chapter 7. Deconstructing the "I'm not enough" myth. If you dig deep enough into any limiting belief, you will almost always hit the same bedrock floor, the belief that I am not enough. We live in a culture that confuses net worth with self-worth. We learn the dangerous equation: my worth equals my performance plus others' approval. The human being versus human doing. Your value is an essential property. Think of a $100 bill. If I crumble it up and throw it in the dirt, it is still worth $100. The condition of the bill does not change its value. You are the bill. You can be crumbled by failure or torn by trauma, but your value has never dropped below 100%. Getting unstuck requires severing the link between your performance and your identity. If your business fails, you are not a failure. You are a person whose business failed. When you detach your self-worth from the outcome, you become fearless. Chapter 8. Putting your beliefs on trial. We are going to borrow a tool from the gold standard of modern psychology, cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. CBT operates on the premise that thoughts create feelings, and feelings create behaviors. The courtroom technique. Imagine a thought enters your head. I'm going to get fired because I messed up that email. You are now the defense attorney. Isolate the thought. I am incompetent and will be fired. The prosecution's evidence. I sent the email to the wrong person. The defense's evidence. I have worked here for 5 years with positive reviews. Everyone makes mistakes. The verdict, the reframe, I made a mistake, which is frustrating, but it does not erase my 5-year track record. I will apologize and correct it. The first thought leads to panic. The second thought leads to action. Your brain is a storytelling machine. Your job is to be the fact checker. Chapter 9. The fear of failure versus the fear of success. We all understand the fear of failure. But there is a more insidious beast: the fear of success. Why would we be afraid of getting what we want? Because success is a threat to the ego, because success requires change. The upper limit problem. Psychologist Gay Hendricks calls this the upper limit problem. We each have an internal thermostat for how much happiness we allow ourselves to feel. When we exceed that setting, our subconscious alarm bells go off. This is unsafe. So, we unconsciously manufacture a crisis, pick a fight, get sick, to bring ourselves back down to our familiar zone of struggle. Raising the thermostat. When things go well, and you feel that urge to self-sabotage, stop. Recognize it as an upper limit problem. Say to yourself, I am feeling fear because things are going well. I am safe. I am allowed to be this happy. You have to acclimate to the new altitude. Chapter 10. Breaking the cycle of ruminating thoughts. Rumination is when your brain gets stuck like a broken record, replaying the same negative scene. It is a loop, not problem solving. Technique 1. The pattern interrupt. When you catch yourself looping, you need a physical jolt. Snap a rubber band on your wrist. Splash cold water on your face. Change rooms. You cannot think your way out of a thinking loop. You have to sense your way out. Technique 2. Worry time. If your brain insists on worrying, schedule it. Tell your critic, I have a meeting with you at 4:30 p.m. to worry. At 4:30 p.m., sit down and worry for 15 minutes. Surprisingly, when 4:30 comes around, the worry has usually lost its emotional charge. Part 3. The reconstruction. Rewiring for freedom. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Will Durant. Chapter 11. The science of change. Neuroplasticity and hope. Scientists used to believe the adult brain was fixed. We now know the brain is neuroplastic, moldable like clay. Hebb's law. Neurons that fire together, wire together. Every time you think, I'm not good enough, you strengthen that neural pathway. You wrap it in myelin, turning a dirt road into a high-speed superhighway. This is why you are stuck You are a biological expert at your old patterns. But there is a flip side. Neurons that fire apart, wire apart. If you stop using a pathway, the brain dismantles it. The 66-day myth. It takes roughly 66 days to form a new habit, not 21. Days 1 to 22, destruction, exhausting. Your brain wants the old path. Days 23 to 44, installation, messy. Days 45 to 66, integration, the new path becomes myelinated. If you want to give up on day 14, keep going. You are just in the destruction phase. Chapter 12. Crafting a new narrative. We are all storytellers. If you are stuck, you are likely telling a victim story, things happen to me. To get unstuck, you must rewrite the script into a hero story, things happen for me. Exercise. The script rewrite. Write the victim draft. I'm stuck in middle management because the economy is bad and I'm too old. The truth check. Is the entire economy bad? Are all 45-year-olds stuck? Write the hero draft. I am in middle management, which has given me leadership skills. I have 20 years of experience. My second act is just beginning. The act as if principle. You don't have to feel like the hero yet. You just have to act as if. Emotion follows action. Stand like a confident person, and eventually, the brain catches up. Chapter 13. The power of radical self-compassion. Here is the biggest paradox of personal development. You cannot hate yourself into a version of yourself you can love. Many of us use shame as a whip. But shame triggers the fight or flight response, shutting down the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain you need for willpower. By shaming yourself, you chemically make it harder to change. The best friend standard. Whenever you fail, imagine your best friend confessed the exact same mistake to you. Would you call them garbage? No, you would encourage them. The rule: you are not allowed to speak to yourself in a tone you wouldn't use with a friend. Put down the whip, pick up a hand. Chapter 14. Defining your unstuck vision. Knowing what you don't want, pain, is not the same as knowing what you do want, vision. You cannot hit a target you cannot see. Exercise. The perfect average day. Don't fantasize about winning the lottery. Design your perfect average Tuesday. How do you wake up? What are you working on? Who do you eat lunch with? How does the evening feel? This helps you chase a specific feeling of life rather than abstract goals. Anchor your vision in values, e.g., freedom, creativity, rather than just outcomes. Chapter 15. Embracing uncertainty as fuel. You look at the path ahead and feel a knot in your stomach. What if it doesn't work? Reframing anxiety as excitement. Anxiety and excitement are biologically identical. In both states, heart rate rises and cortisol increases. The only difference is the label. Label equals fear and GT, retreat. Label equals excitement and GT, advance. When you feel those butterflies, interpret them as a green light. It means you are challenging your comfort zone. Smart risks. We aren't talking about reckless gambling. We are talking about asymmetric risk. Smart risk. Capped downside, embarrassment, unlimited upside, growth. The pain of a failed attempt weighs ounces. The pain of what if weighs tons. Part 4. The Ascension. Living free. Inaction breeds doubt and fear. Action breeds confidence and courage. Dale Carnegie. Chapter 16. Action over perfection. The greatest enemy of the unstuck life is perfectionism. We wait for the perfect plan, and while we wait, we atrophy. The ceramics class parable. A ceramics teacher graded Group A on quantity, 50 pounds of pots, and Group B on quality, 1 perfect pot. The result: the highest quality pots came from the quantity group. Why? Because they practiced. They made messy pots and learned. The quality group sat paralyzing themselves with theory. Permission to suck. Embrace the Bad first draft. You cannot fix a blank page. You can fix a bad page. The mantra. Done is better than perfect. Launch at 70%. Apply at 70%. Speed of implementation is the ultimate advantage. Chapter 17. Building momentum through micro habits. Don't rely on motivation. It burns out. Rely on discipline. To start, you need to lower the activation energy. The 2-minute rule. When you start a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do. Goal. Get fit. NGT. Micro habit. Do 1 push-up. Goal. Write a book. NGT. Micro habit. Write 1 sentence. This seems too easy, but it overcomes the inertia of starting. Once you are on the floor for 1 push-up, you will likely do 10. You are casting a vote for your new identity. I am the kind of person who shows up. Chapter 18. Navigating setbacks without getting stuck again. You are going to fail. The goal is not to never fall, but to know how to get back up. The spiral versus the circle. Growth is not a straight line. Growth is a spiral. You may feel like you are circling back to old struggles, but you are at a higher elevation. You have new tools. That is mastery. The relapse prevention plan. The 24-hour rule. You are allowed 24 hours to wallow. Then, you must do 1 micro habit. Halt analysis. Are you hungry, angry, lonely, or tired? Fix the physiology first. Chapter 19. The courage to be seen. Unapologetic authenticity. Getting unstuck means becoming visible. You are leaving the stands and entering the arena. Dealing with the crab bucket. When you climb out of the bucket, other crabs, friends, family may try to pull you back down. Your growth highlights their stagnation. Do not dim your light to make others comfortable in the dark. The cost of inauthenticity. The cost of wearing a mask is exhaustion. Authenticity is an energy hack. When you align your outside with your inside, you stop leaking energy. The mantra. I would rather be rejected for who I am than accepted for who I am not. Chapter 20. The infinite climb. Continuous evolution. There is no finish line. Unstuck is a verb, not a noun. You practice it every day. The goal is not to reach a state of permanent bliss, but to build the muscle of evolution. You now have the manual. The cage door is open. The rope is cut. The world does not need more people playing it safe. The world needs you, the real you. Take a deep breath, look at the horizon, and take the first step. You are free.